ezi onye nwe anyị na Chineke nna nke pụrụ m ihe niile, Chukwu okike abịa ma bụ onye anyị na-efe na-agọzi aha nsọ ya, onye ọ bụ naanị ya na-achị, onye mmụọ na mmadụ na-erubere isi, onye ọ bụ naanị ya bụ ọkaka. Ụbọchị ene ka anyị na-etuga eze ebube dị ngọzi, mmalite na ọgwụgwụ. Ndị gboo wee tụọ oge ebighị ebi, onye nwe m, ụmụ gị wee gbakọọ n'ụwa niile iwe nara ozi ọma nke gị onwe gị n'ezi ha site n'ọnụ mmadụ dị ndụ na nke ebere dị ngọzi. Anyị wee na-asị na onweghị ihe ọbụla nke anyị onwe anyị bụ n'ihi na ọ bụ anụkpa ahụ sọsọ ka mmadụ dị ndụ bụ. Ofu ụbọchị anyị ga-anwụ, maka na okwu nsọ gị na-adịghị ma ruo mgbe ebighị ebi, n'ihi na okwu gị niile ga-abịarịrị na mmezu. Ọ bịa mere Biafra ga-eji wee bịa na mgbe nke anyị. Anyị wee na-akpọkụ gị wee na-arịọ gị na-asị, lekwa ude nke anyị na-asụ n'akwa nke anyị na-ebe ka o metụta gị n'obi. Onye nwe m na Chineke nna nke igwe, biko dịka isi wee napụta ụmụ gị n'ọbụ n'Ijipt gotu wee wezuga ụmụ gị bụ ndị Biafra mgbe ekwensu bụ zuu nke mmadụ dị ndụ karị. Anyị wee na-aja gị mma, na-asị gị n'ime ọnọdụ anyị na anyị ga-ekele ha nsọ gị, wee nye gị nsọpụrụ ụtọ na-eji ama mgbe niile, n'ihi na anyị enweghị chi ọzọ ewezuga gị. Anyị nwe anyị anaghị efe arụsị. Ọbịa mere iji wee na-agọzi nsọmụkwụ anyị niile. Ọbịa mere IPOB ji wee gbaa mgbọrọgwụ n'ụwa niile. Anyị anaghị atụ egwu mmadụ dị ndụ. Anyị wee na-eto gị eze ebube dị ngọzi, sị gị biko gbatara anyị ọsọ enyemaka. Ọ bụ naanị gị bụ onye anyị refe nwanyị akpụ isi ala nye ka i wee napụta ndị gị n'ọbụ nke ekwensu. Anyị wee na-enye gị ofe na nsọpụrụ na ija mma, na-asị lekwa ka ndị iro anyị niile ka kasị wee baa ha ọnụ, ha wee daa hapụ ikuni ọzọ. Obodo ekwensu bụ zu ala ọkwa n'ihi eze ebube dị ngọzi. Anyị ọnwa anyị bụ ụmụ gị wee na-akpọkọ ha nsọ gị, na-asị na enweghị chi ọzọ egwezuga gị. Anyị wee na-aja gị mma, wee na-eto gị, na-asị onye kere ihe niile kere eke mana nwere onye kere na n'otuto niile na nsọpụrụ niile na ịja mma niile site n'ebighị ebi mara onye bụ ka a na-arịọ gị. Ise ise ise. Nigeria bribes every ambassador that comes to Nigeria. They give you loads of money, so you will never report what is happening in Nigeria. You don't know that? Your diplomats presiding over the slaughter of the innocent. You cannot speak the truth. We are in the middle of a war. The Fulanis have levied war on every indigenous population, ethnic group in Nigeria. All of you can see it. And that is why people are dying in Nigeria. Nigeria is the only place in turmoil, not making it onto the front pages of newspapers all over the world. Nobody talks about it because they are all compromised. They've been bribed. Nigeria bribes every ambassador that comes to Nigeria. They give you loads of money, so you will never report what is happening in Nigeria. You don't know that? Your diplomats presiding over the slaughter of the innocent. You cannot speak the truth. We are in the middle of a war. The Fulanis have levied war on every indigenous population, ethnic group in Nigeria. All of you can see it. And that is why people are dying in Nigeria. Nigeria is the only place in turmoil, not making it onto the front pages of newspapers all over the world. Nobody talks about it because they are all compromised. They've been bribed.
Fulani never envisaged that the likes of Nnamdi Kanu will ever emerge. They never in a million years. They thought that you can bribe anybody. You can buy anybody. Offer him a jet, give him money, tell him, promise him good life with his family, anywhere he wants. Promise him a house, mansion, oil well, anything he wants. Give him his money. After all, you can buy any Igbo man, you can buy them. They are very weak. You can buy all of them. They're the body who we were. That I come from a line, I wouldn't call it royal, a line of nobility, where you have noble men that do not sell their conscience. Fulani never envisaged that the likes of Nnamdi Kanu will ever emerge. They never in a million years. They thought that you can bribe anybody. You can buy anybody. Offer him a jet, give him money, tell him, promise him good life with his family, anywhere he wants. Promise him a house, mansion, oil well, anything he wants. Give him his money. After all, you can buy any Igbo man, you can buy them. They are very weak. You can buy all of them. They're the body who we were. That I come from a line, I wouldn't call it royal, a line of nobility, where you have noble men Noble men that do not sell their conscience. Fulani.
The foundation for the liberation and independence of Biafra has been laid by this government, and it is very, very strong. We build this particular foundation of the liberation on solid rock. Are you not seeing it? We are not shaking. I am standing very, very strong, making sure that I'm taking the bullet that they are firing at Biafra people, because their target is you. They believe that once they take Nnamdi Kanu out of the way, they will come for all of you. That is exactly what is happening in other parts of Nigeria, because nobody is there to stand on the way for them. And they are annihilating people, killing them, sending them to IDP camp. I told them, you see this face, okay, deceive very well. To deceive you. The momentum of the Biafra liberation today have necessitated all the discussion you see. Everybody is talking. Release Nnamdi Kanu. Why are they keeping him? Some of them claim that he was not fighting the way I'm fighting, but you kidnap him. Some of them are now addressing him as a gentleman, but he went and they kidnapped a gentleman. They say, oh, he's more reasonable. He's not, but you kidnap him. What were you thinking? All of them contributed money. When Nnamdi Kanu was speaking, it was their headache. They couldn't sleep every day. Oh, Nnamdi Kanu, he's destroying Alibo. Oh, Nnamdi Kanu, he's doing this, he's doing that. Today, Nnamdi Kanu is no longer destroying Alibo. Nnamdi Kanu is no longer causing problem. Nnamdi Kanu is no longer is the good man. Is the only man now that is very reasonable. And I have not even started. Because you see what Agaku Nigeria Igwe. Agaku Nigeria Igwe. And you know the next level is by taking all their terrorist barracks, taking all the government houses. That is the next level we will go, because it is part of the defense of our land. These places are places where the attack against our people are being planned.
We are going to do wonders. I want you all to understand that we are in a very big battle. Battle for freedom is not for lily-livered people. It's not for kids. Battle for freedom, they throw bombs, rockets for people to get freedom. So freedom is not meant for people that are too emotional. It's not meant for people that somebody will talk this and talk that and they begin to shiver. No. I am born for Biafra to come. And I'm going to help Nnamdi Kanu to get Biafra.
Believe me.
Believe me. Go and mark today's date. I want to assure Biafrans, so long as you continue to stand on your freedom, I will be there for you. So long as you continue to maintain that you have a right to live, I, Simon Ekpa, will be there. Any day, anytime.
For the month of November.
Now, before I will play this next message and I will go straight to the topic of the day, I want you to know that there is no enchantment. There is no collusion, collaboration, evil engagement against this servant of Chukwu Okike Abiama, the torchbearer, the punisher, the deliverer of this our mandate to freedom. No amount of treachery against Simon Ekpa that will succeed. No amount. And I need you to see the glory and the power in his eyes and see the grace of God upon his life and know that every effort you have made so far, they are all but in vain. We're going to bring you what's happening in the UK, and then I will bring you what's happening around the world. The world is at alert. And I will bring you also update from Sokoto, a lot. I'm going to feed you with tonight. It's going to be a little bit of a long night. Thank you, everyone that is joining me tonight. You can see Honorable Dr. Joy Irobi, a very faithful, dogged daughter of Zion, daughter of Biafra, uncompromising one indeed. Thank you for being here. Worry sister, a gallant warrior also with me. I'm sure you'll be able to join me tonight also. By the time we begin to deliver the goods, thank you for being here. Gladys, Pure Heart, I see you. Louis Peters, my formidable brother, thank you for joining me. The house is already full and I can see that. Believe you me, we are in a very interesting times. These are the times when people begin to consider their options. Should I remain or should I go? Should I remain or should I go? Should I fall in or should I fall out? And these are desperate times. And desperate times require desperate measures. Because when there are desperate times like these, only those that are desperately in need of Biafra will be found not wanting, standing dogged without compromise until we get there. All the people you see today, Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa, have already raised a mandate, raised a standard against them. They are going to fall and they will never rise again. Those that are fake people, fake people. There are some that came and presented themselves as savior. I don't want to do saga tonight, but one day I will wake up to do saga. One day, when the spirit enter me, I will just do small saga. I'll do small saga and I'll ask some questions. So that you people understand that it is not all that glitters are gold. It is not all that say, Father, 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 are actually servants of the Most High. It is not all that you have ever heard talking about Biafra, that are actually ready for this freedom. I will just ask you a question. Where is Ikukuna? Ikukuna, Kebano. Some of these people that come to distract you, they come as if they are interested. They are only interested in their stomach. Where are the independent fools? We are here, and you see Obatobie, Mas Simon Ekpa, and Mas Nnamdi Kanu. Woto haku go to Nigeria. Mama go to Nigeria can on our sohana now. I'm telling you, on our sohana now. And by the time God is done with them through these servants of God, they will understand. And all of you that are, dwindling, those of you that have the problem I call Stockholm syndrome, some of you might be spared. There's those of you that will remain. Let me play this one so that I will not go elsewhere tonight, because I have a lot to share with you tonight. The things that are happening in Britain is sweeting my belly already, because Nnamdi Kanu cast a spell on them, and that spell is working very, very fast. And those of you that think you are working against Simon Ekpa, I want to listen to the spell he cast on you. November 3 years ago, November 2023. This was November, I think November 2022 or 2023. That PM told them this thing. And those of them that caught that demon, they are falling. And some of you that didn't even know that this man is so powerful and you cannot do anything against him, that particular spell is also hitting you very, very strong. You are falling and you will never rise again.
For the month of November, woto to the enemies of Biafra. Woto to the enemies of Biafra. When we land on you, we will destroy everything you have except you are genuinely fighting for Biafra. Woto to the enemies of Biafra. Woto to those who sold Nnamdi Kanu either directly or indirectly. Woto to those who have joined their hand afterthought to betray Nnamdi Kanu and Biafra. Woto to those.
And the afterthoughts to betray Simon Ekpa and Biafra. My Simon Ekpa was casting spell on those that betray Nnamdi Kanu. He didn't even know that they are coming to betray him. And that woto is also catching up with them now.
Who have joined their hand afterthought to betray Nnamdi Kanu and Biafra. Woto to those who have soiled their hands in the blood of innocent Biafrans and innocent ESN commanders. You will never know peace. Woto to you who say Biafra will not come. Woto to those who say if Biafra, instead of Biafra to come, they will rather die. Woto to all of you. The gods of our land have destroyed you. You will never rise again. You will never, ever, ever rise again. You will never rise again. Any native doctor that tries to make you rise, his power and everything he have in this life will be destroyed. completely destroyed.
Ndewo, Odogu, Ndewo. Thank you, Odogu. Thank you very much. Now, a lot is happening. My name is Raphael Chamaka Jere, also known as Pastor Van Van Van, by the grace of Kabiyama Primi Henile, the Minister of Information, Communication, and Media, Biafra Republic Government in Exile. I greet you all, and I bring you good tidings. Yes, good tidings. Because when the enemies of Biafra are suffering, honestly speaking, it gives me joy, great joy. Britain is fast becoming the first Islamic state of Europe. Britain is very, very fast and rapidly becoming the first Islamic state of Europe. Even the moderate Islamists from UAE and Saudi Arabia and Dubai, they are no longer allowing their children to go to school in Britain. You know why? They say Britain is becoming too Islamic for them. I will shock you with that video. They say Britain is becoming too Islamic for them. But meanwhile, journalists in Iran are warning Britain and warning other parts of Europe to learn, because already Britain is becoming the first Islamic state of Europe. And you know that that is exactly what Prince Charles, Queen Elizabeth, and the rest of them, that's what they programmed for. But the time they wanted it is not now. But they want to make it fast. They wanted to make it fast now to distract and disturb Donald J. Trump. Now, Britain is even preparing to go to war against America. They're also preparing themselves to go to war against America. Yes. Because as Donald Trump is trying to protect every of the places that will expose them to the attack from Russia and China, and to protect their interests both in Europe and around the globe, and even in America, Britain is countering it. Britain is the one responsible for making sure that there is heavy presence of Islamic, fanaticism in all over Europe, and they are pushing them to America. A lot of evil that is going on in this world today, Britain. And Nnamdi Kanu, who started exposing it, that's the reason why they don't want Nnamdi Kanu to be free. But Nnamdi Kanu, being the servant of the Most High God, and Donald J. Trump being the instrument or the last trumpet of God, will make sure the evil plan of Europe, Britain, against Nnamdi Kanu will never come to pass. The evil plan of Europe and Britain against our Prime Minister Simon Ekpa will never come to pass. Let me bring you these videos one after the other, and then I will put the link. Listen to this one first.
In Iran,
it will shock you. It will shock you what is happening. What is happening? It will shock you. They say they believe in Britain doesn't have democracy anymore. Britain is gone. Britain is already gone. It's gone to the terrorists. It's gone to the fanatics. It's gone. Now listen to this.
My family fled Iran. The UK is next if you ignore this.
My family fled Iran. The UK is next if you ignore this. This is an Iranian American now. He said, my family fled Iran. The UK will experience this if they ignore his warning. Now what?
My family fled Iran. The UK is next if you ignore this. You see, very soon you might look at something that sounds insane at first. British people fleeing England. Not for the UAE, not for Dubai, but for a liberated free Iran. It sounds crazy.
Are you hearing it? British citizens will soon start fleeing Britain, and where will they be running to? They'll be running to Iran for safety, because Iran have now been exported to Britain, and now freedom is now coming to Iran, and people will soon be running away. That is why every one of you in Europe that is not supporting Biafra will be one of the safest places for you. Some of you in some parts of Europe today, especially Britain, Biafra. That's why our people in UK, those of you that are listening to Ogenkere, and allowing him to delay your freedom. Those of you listening to Ngozi Arabueze, allowing them to delay your freedom, you are doing yourself, because Britain is being almost overwhelmed. The resources you have today, you need it for us to make sure that our leaders are out and that our freedom come. Because very soon, very, very soon, even the British people themselves will be running. And they'll be running to Iran. Tell me, some of them will prefer to come to Biafra because they know that originally Biafra have never been Islamic before. So Biafra will be a better choice or a better option for them. Talk less of you that is supposed to be a citizen of Biafra. You are allowing an idiotic criminal, an idiotic distraction to come to you and make you lose focus. They're telling you it is Ogenkere. They will hear now. What does Ogenkere have to offer to you as far as the freedom of Biafra people is concerned right now? What effort can he make to surpass what Simon Ekpa is doing or Nnamdi Kanu is doing? What representation can he do with all this criminality tendency? You better open your eye, because very soon British people will be running to Iran. And you, that is a Biafran, where will you run to if Biafra is not already in our hand? So you have to make every effort and stop supporting these distractions that want to be paying some criminals like Elias Gerasolis. And the lawyer who don't even know on whose side he is, sharing money to them, the money you will use to secure yourself and secure your freedom. You are giving it to a criminal. All right, let me continue to play this. I will start it from the beginning again, because this is quite interesting.
My family fled Iran. The UK is next if you ignore this. You see, very soon you might look at something that sounds insane at first. British people fleeing England. Not for the UAE, not for Dubai, but for a liberated free Iran. It sounds crazy. Just stay with me. England is playing with fire. It has an actual chance that it is the first Islamic Republic of Europe.
Hey! Britain is playing with fire. There is a chance now that it is going to be the first Islamic Republic of Europe.
For Dubai, but for a liberated free Iran. It sounds crazy. Just stay with me. England is playing with fire. It has an actual chance that it is the first Islamic Republic of Europe. Not by tanks, not by coups, but just look at the demographics, courts, and the cowardice.
Look at demographics now. Fertility rates hit record low in England, Scotland, and Wales. British people are no longer giving birth. British people know they're born again. Now, the Islamic people in Britain are having so many children, numerous children, getting all the child benefit and everything. But the real citizens' fertility rate is very low. Very low.
Republic of Europe. Not by tanks, not by coups, but just look at the demographics, courts, and the cowardice. And here's how that works. You have a Pakistani like Bushra, born in England, to a migrant family that may be begged on their knees for the British to take them. They can't get deported. She knows you can't deport her. She knows it, ever. That means she can spend the next 30 years, 5 days a week, using free speech to campaign against British culture, British traditions, British values. Then they can openly promote an Islamic state and face zero consequences, as she encourages more Pakistanis to come to England. At the same point, the natives in the UK are shrinking. The birth rates are collapsing as communities that openly reject assimilation are going up the fastest in numbers.
Okay.
The UK keeps saying it can't happen here, right? We're inclusive. But that's exactly what happened in 1970s in Iran. They thought it was crazy that an American embassy would get taken hostage by the IRGC. But it did. But it did. If Iran breaks free, secular, prosperous, open, it becomes what it once was, a magnet, a great civilizational state. And all of a sudden, the unthinkable could come. British people, yes, Europeans, families, entrepreneurs fleeing ideological terrorism in the UK for an opportunity to flee to Iran. Oh, how the tables turn. The same way people flee to the UAE today. But that's the rich British. I'm talking about even the middle class fleeing to come to the Middle East. Europe, listen, it's not too late. Do not make the same mistake Iran has made.
Do not make the same mistake Iran has made. Now, let me show you the video that will shock you. This one is the highest video that will shock you today. Watch this.
Stop giving.
Watch this video. This will shock you. If you have anybody that is not watching this program already, invite them. Invite them, because this one here will put you on your toes, especially those of you already living in England. Those of you British citizens that maybe you are not naturally, you got the citizenship as a Biafran, you came into England and all that, and then you think that you are safe. And when we talk about freedom, you just ignore it. And then when they come, they distract you, you pay them attention. And when they come, they collect your money, they say, hey, find their freedom, find their freedom. And you see all the nonsense they are doing. You don't open your eye and listen to vam, vam, vam. You are listening to those criminals. Okay, now, listen to this.
Guys, you are not going to believe this. So the UAE have stopped giving scholarship to their citizens that want to study in the UK. And the reason they gave is unbelievable. The UAE is saying that the UK have become too Islamic and they don't want their own citizens to go there and get corrupted with the kind of Islamic mentality that is now spreading all over the UK. Can you imagine that? UAE, United Arab Emirates, the home of Islam, is now complaining that UK have become too Islamic and they don't want their own citizens to go there and get corrupted. You can imagine that. You can imagine how terrible it has become in the UK. UK is gone. It is over, like irredeemably lost, over, done and dusted. Totally. Guys, you are not going to believe this. So the UAE have stopped giving scholarship to their citizens that want to study in the UK. And the reason they gave is unbelievable. The UAE is saying that the UK have become too Islamic and they don't want their own citizens to go there and get corrupted with the kind of Islamic mentality that is now spreading all over the UK. Can you imagine that? UAE, United Arab Emirates, the home of Islam, is now complaining that UK have become too Islamic and they don't want their own citizens to go there and get corrupted. You can imagine that. You can imagine how terrible it has become in the UK. UK is gone. It is over, like irredeemably lost, over, done and dusted. Totally.
Repeat it again.
Guys, you are not going to believe this. So the UAE have stopped giving scholarship to their citizens that want to study in the UK. And the reason they gave is unbelievable. The UAE is saying that the UK have become too Islamic and they don't want their own citizens to go there and get corrupted with the kind of Islamic mentality that is now spreading all over the UK.
Now, even the real Islamic world, the real Muslim people go where the Muslim people go for their pilgrimage, are now concerned about UK. They say UK is becoming more Islamic than their own Arab nation. Now, they used to send their children to go and school there because there is rule of law, there is a democracy, there is this. Now they say they will no longer give their children scholarship to go and school in UK because the highest level of Islamic fanaticism have now landed in UK. So their children are no longer safe. The future of their children in UK is no longer safe because UK is becoming too Islamic. Hello. So this world, things are changing very fast. This is the reason why we need to work very hard to make sure that our freedom comes as quickly as possible. You see, the spell Nnamdi Kanu cast on UK is happening very, very fast. And Nnamdi Kanu, while he is even there in Sokoto, and they think they sent him to Sokoto, they think they sent him to Sokoto to go and perish. They don't know that even UK is becoming worse than Sokoto. That the more they plan evil against Nnamdi Kanu, the worse evil will be coming to their shores, to their land, to their countryside. The evil they plan against Biafra and against our leader, it will be multiplied on them. You can't even hear such a thing being said about Sokoto. That Sokoto is becoming too Islamic. It is now UK. UK is becoming even more Islamic than Sokoto. Hello? That's why Nnamdi Kanu told Bishop Coker and every one of you that think you want to make caricature of Nnamdi Kanu. You want to support a shameless, bribed judge that passed judgment on Nnamdi Kanu. I'm going to bring a video that will shock most of you if you have not seen it already. The international community, some of the people that matters, have looked into the issue of Nnamdi Kanu. And I'm telling you, Nnamdi Kanu's case, it is the final bus stop. It is the last oppression that they will give to Biafra. This Nnamdi Kanu case, the last oppression. I'm telling you. They will regret and continue to regret forever and ever doing what they did to Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu told them, even right there in their court, that God will punish you forever and ever. Let me allow this to play finish, and then I'll first of all bring you the report from the lawyer that went to Sokoto, and then I'll bring you the other message that I'm talking about, a unique one indeed about Nnamdi Kanu. But this one about UK, please share it and let everybody know that, look, that thing Nnamdi Kanu told them, is coming to UK. It's already there. And the people that are now afraid for it are the Islamic nation themselves. They are now scared of that thing that Nnamdi Kanu talked about. They are now scared that that thing is happening to UK. It is happening to UK already. Just the same way, exact way Nnamdi Kanu told them. Now hear it for the last time, and then we'll bring another video.
Guys, you are not going to believe this. So the UAE have stopped giving scholarship to their citizens that want to study in the UK. And the reason they gave is unbelievable. The UAE is saying that the UK have become too Islamic and they don't want their own citizens to go there and get corrupted with the kind of Islamic mentality that is now spreading all over the UK. Can you imagine that? UAE, United Arab Emirates, the home of Islam, is now complaining that UK have become too Islamic and they don't want their own citizens to go there and get corrupted. You can imagine that. You can imagine how terrible it has become in the UK. UK is gone. It is over. Like irredeemably lost. Over, done and dusted. Totally.
Thank you. Thank you, Plan B. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you. God punish all of them one by one. He said, God punish all of them one by one. You see, what? I don't even know. You know, they are so deaf, dumb, and I don't know what is wrong with them. Because as all these things are happening to them, yet they are still targeting Nnamdi Kanu. They are still punishing Nnamdi Kanu. They are still trying to think they can make life difficult for Nnamdi Kanu. But I don't know who is advising this Nigerian government. I don't know whether they are not aware that what is happening to them is because of what they are doing to Nnamdi Kanu. That is what is bringing this calamity upon them. So they don't even have somebody advising them. They won't advising her. These people are so come and listen to Maxwell was in Sokoto. Let's hear what Maxwell had to say while he was in Sokoto. Even this happening today in Sokoto. Let's listen to him.
Of freedom, just like as I said, today being 11th day of January 2026. This is a Kofa da Ramiya roundabout in Sokoto. So the challenges we are having is that the judgment of the court is really affecting Nnamdi Kanu's appeal. Remember that the judge ordered that Nnamdi Kanu should not have electronic access to electronic devices. And somebody who is doing an appeal on his own, he cannot. Even the correctional center, when the Nnamdi Kanu wanted to go and do something, they said that no, the order said that he should not have any electronic device. How can you say somebody who is doing his appeal, he cannot have access to a printer, he cannot have access to photocopier, he cannot have access to any electronic gadgets? It is unfair. You don't do this kind of thing. Now, the consultants, most of the consultants and the people, the sympathizers, the experts that have sympathy for him has given me their various contributions in their appeal. You can see it. Now I'm giving him the hard copy. It is now left for him now to see all these things, put it together, and he print it out and sign and file his appeal. But he cannot do it. I just gave him the hard copy. He was telling me the challenges he's having. Today is the 11th day of January, and the judgment was given on November, and he cannot file his appeal. I have not seen this kind of judgment in my life. I know what I'm saying. Now is this not against the principle of fair hearing? I did this Sokoto here for how many days now? This is the challenges I'm having, and I cannot be coming from Abuja to Sokoto. Each trip I embark from Abuja to Sokoto here, both flight tickets, drop, hotel bills. It's not fair. So that is the challenges he's having. So we are looking for a way on whether to go back to the court for court to reconsider his this on appeal. I don't know how we're going to do it. That's a God bless you. That's the update I said. Let me just give you. So freedom.
All right.
Just like as I said.
That's what, the games they are playing on Nnamdi Kanu. It is good we are bringing it up in the media. We have to keep bringing them up in the media so that the whole world will be seeing it. It will be clear to everyone, because at the end of the day, they are ending up shooting themselves on the foot. Every intervention that will come from Nnamdi Kanu, it will be justified. Every intervention that will be coming from Nnamdi Kanu, we have justifiable reasons for that, and they can never do anything to Onyendu. They don't fit. They don't fit. Now let me get you the other message. I'm going to put the link, and so that while the other message will be playing, you open your ears and listen to this one, because this one is a very powerful one that you need to follow very, very well, because Nnamdi Kanu, his vindication will be very, very sweet. It's already getting sweet, by the way, but you just need to be, follow it sequentially for us to know that, look, a lot is being done on behalf of Nnamdi Kanu. A lot is being done.
System, but on
a lot is happening, and the world is on their toes watching, because the outcome is not, Nigeria is not going to like it because they will pay seriously for what they have done or they are doing to Nnamdi Kanu. Believe me, they will pay. Now listen to this, share this, and let everyone join us as this plays out. I am putting the link while this is going on.
Who bribed Judge Omotosho? The truth.
Who bribed Judge Omotosho? Who bribed him? Everything has been exposed, though. Everything has been exposed.
Who bribed Judge Omotosho? The truth behind Kanu's sentence. Life in prison. That was the sentence. They told everyone to trust the system, but on November 20th, 2025, a judge sentenced Nnamdi Kanu to prison for the rest of his life, and that's supposed to be the end of the story. But what if it's all a lie? What if this entire verdict was bought and paid for before the trial even started? Today we are going to expose something so crazy it could tear a country apart. A judge was bribed to put a man in jail for life. This is insane. You are not going to believe what we found. This is the one video they do not want you to see, because the answer to who bribed this judge proves everything. The allegation, a judgment for sale? Okay, so here is the craziest allegation I have ever heard. We're not talking about a little bias. We are talking about a judge being bribed. The IPOB movement claims that the judge was paid a massive amount of money and promised a huge promotion just to give a life sentence. This is literally like something out of a movie. And it gets crazier. They claim this has happened before. Other judges who ruled against this guy got big promotions. It's like a secret rewards program for judges, and they're saying this is just the latest example of the same corrupt plan being used on Justice Omotosho. These are the most serious accusations you can make. The IPOB movement is even asking international courts to investigate this judge's behavior. Now, to be clear, nobody has shown a video of a briefcase full of money yet, but the question is insane. Was this even a real trial, or was it just a show where the ending was already written? Think about it. If you had all the evidence against someone, why would you need to bribe a judge? It makes no sense, unless you have nothing. This accusation, true or not, is the beginning of a conspiracy that is just unbelievable. The context, a trial on a shaky foundation. But to show you how insane this all is, we have to go back to the beginning, because this trial was doomed from the start. It all started when they declared the IPOB movement, a terrorist group back in 2017. The IPOB movement says this was just a political move to shut them up, but the government connected them to violence. Then the guy was literally kidnapped in another country in June 2021 and illegally flown back to Nigeria. It wasn't an official process. His supporters say it was a straight-up abduction. Even the country's own Supreme Court said this was wrong, but they let the trial happen anyway. Can you believe that? And then there's this. The law they used to convict him doesn't even exist anymore. His lawyer says it was repealed and replaced back in 2022. So they put a man in jail for life using a law that's completely gone. How is that even possible? During the trial, Kanu yelled at the court, "Show me the law!"
Useless black man. You don't know what justice means? You have no idea what justice means. You don't know what justice means. Useless black African people. You don't know the name of justice. Your constitution says you cannot try anybody unless the law is written. Show me the written law. Show me the written law. I want to know the written law. Talk to me now. Show me the law. Are you okay? Don't go close. Don't try that rubbish. Don't try it. Don't try it. Go ahead and say. Don't try rubbish. Don't try rubbish. Useless people. You don't know law. You don't know law. Your own constitution you don't respect. Supreme Court judgment you don't respect. Then why we the court of law? Why we the court of law? I ask. Nonsense.
His lawyers say they couldn't. They're calling the whole thing the death of legality. The trial itself was a total mess. At one point, Kanu accused the judge of being biased and fired all of his lawyers. He was then thrown out of his own trial for being disruptive before the judge read the sentence.
You cannot show me.
I'll come back.
You cannot show me.
Can you please?
You cannot show me because you don't know the law. You can't show me.
Alright.
Don't touch me. Don't you dare touch me. People who don't know law are presiding over me. Show me where it says you can wear my right. Show me the place I'm asking you. Show me. Show me. Show me. Which law says you can try me an unwritten law? Show me. You cannot show me. I am a judge. You claim you're a judge. You don't know law. You don't know law. Nonsense. Where is the family written address? Where is it? Which law gave you the right to waive my family written address? Which law gave you that right? Nonsense. You think I try this with you? You try with me? What you are mad. What is this man doing here? What are you 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 doing here? This is idiot attack me. This is the fool attack me. That's idiot attack me. That's the fool. Don't touch me. Don't push me. I'm telling you, don't touch. Don't touch me. I'm warning you, don't touch me. I'm warning you, don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. I said, don't touch me. Don't. Smart people. You don't know law. Show me where it says you can wear my right foreign address. Show me the law. Show me the law. I want to show me the law. You don't know law. They are promoting you. You're writing rubbish. Show me the law. Unaddressed affidavit. You say you go fit and you doing their job for them. God will punish you now and forever. Any judgment, let it be on record. Any judgment in this court is rubbish.
So let's recap. He was kidnapped, put on trial with a ghost law, and sentenced by a judge who was bribed. This might be the craziest trial in history, the vindication. The prophet was right. But what if I told you that one person predicted all of this? Years ago, Nnamdi Kanu went on the radio and said exactly what would happen. He literally said the system was corrupt. He warned everyone that the judges were just puppets. He prophesied that they would come for him with tricks and fraud, not with real laws and evidence. And it all came true. He said they'd call him a terrorist. Check. He said they'd ignore international law to catch him. Check. He said the courts would be used to crush him. Triple check. This life sentence isn't a surprise. It's the final level of his prediction. For the millions of people who follow him, this isn't a loss. It's the ultimate proof that he was right all along. The government just proved his entire point for him. They tried to defeat him, but they just made him a prophet. The verdict is his vindication. And get this, the entire case was about his words on the radio. They couldn't find weapons.
Did you hear that? The verdict is his vindication. That verdict, that fraudulent verdict, is Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's what? Vindication. Because everything has been checked. Everything that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu said have come to pass. That verdict is his vindication. Come again, please.
What if I told you that one person predicted all of this? Years ago, Nnamdi Kanu went on the radio and said exactly what would happen. He literally said the system was corrupt. He warned everyone that the judges were just puppets. He prophesied that they would come for him with tricks and fraud, not with real laws and evidence. And it all came true. He said they'd call him a terrorist. Check. He said they'd ignore international law to catch him. Check. He said the courts would be used to crush him. Triple check. This life sentence isn't a surprise. It's the final level of his prediction. For the millions of people who follow him, this isn't a loss. It's the ultimate proof that he was right all along. The government just proved his entire point for him. They tried to defeat him, but they just made him a prophet. The verdict is his vindication. And get this, the entire case was about his words on the radio. They couldn't find weapons, so they used his broadcasts. The court said his words were a weapon. They literally put him in jail for life because his words were too powerful, and proved that in a corrupt system, telling the truth is the most dangerous crime of all. So, was the judge bribed? That's the billion-dollar question. The IPOB movement says yes, claiming it was all for money and a promotion. But maybe it's bigger than that. Maybe the entire system is for sale. This was more than a trial, it was a war. On one side, a state trying to keep control. On the other, a man whose followers say his only crime was telling the truth. The state used its power to get a life sentence, but in front of the world and in front of millions who believe in his cause, this sentence isn't an ending. It's proof. It's the final piece of evidence that everything Nnamdi Kanu warned you about was true. The system didn't defeat Nnamdi Kanu. It proved him right. They do not want you to know any of this. They want you to forget this video even exists, but we're not going to let them. So if you think this is insane, share this video with 5 friends right now. Let the world know what is happening. Let them know that the prophet was right. Hit that like button, comment what you think below, and if you're new here, subscribe to IPOB Rap.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much for that. And I want to bring you another video, but before then, I don't know, my sister, water sister, is in the house right now. If you have something to say, especially about our leaders' recent issue, and also what is becoming of UK already, because I know you are in the UK.
I'm in the UK, my brother. Baba. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you very much. I want you to finish what you are doing, but let me just add a little bit. If you people take note when our Oyendu was talking, if you listen and look at him very well, he was spitting fire. I looked at him and God's people went through me. He was speaking fire. All of them stood up. All the judges, they stood up. I think it's all of them. They were just listening. He said, don't. I said, don't touch me. It's a fire. A moving fire. And that is what is affecting them today. I told you before for UK, forget about UK. UK is gone. We are here. There is no difference between UK and Nigeria now. There is no difference. There is absolutely no. The Queen took away as she went to meet her ancestors. She took all the glory of England.
Of
She
England.
took it. She took
Hmm.
it with her. There's nothing left.
Do you know that while the Queen was still there, his son, Prince Charles, was busy creating
Absolutely.
busy creating an allegiance with the Islamic world, with the globalist movement. In
Yes.
fact, Prince Charles already sold Britain
Yes.
to the Arab
That
world.
is why the mother refused to give him the throne. The mother could have given him the throne way before her passing.
Hmm.
The mother knew that this boy, if possible, to go and do DNA, maybe they could have gone and do DNA.
No wonder they actually eliminated the first wife. That is wife. That one
Yes.
was someone that would have fought against this evil.
Absolutely. You just get them.
They terminated that one.
Yes. They're on a live app, crow, openly. So our Oyendu, they can only delay. They can only delay his trial, but he will go. The whole world is watching.
Everybody's seen it.
The whole world is watching. How can you make somebody miserable not to go and put in his own appeal that you said that is okay for him to do? That is, you gave him judgment that you can appeal. You told him that he can appeal, but you are doing otherwise
You are
for
blocking
him.
the appeal.
You are blocking
from
it.
appealing your judgment.
Yes. Yeah, and you can see that Donald Trump is coming to Nigeria. You can see that he's sending delegates to Nigeria. You can see that American delegates are in Nigeria. They are in the sky. They are on the telephone. They are on ground. And yet you are doing all this.
Yeah.
Do you think nobody's watching?
No, they think they are the only one. The only one. The whole world is revolving around them. They will see the heat very soon.
The Islamic State now are saying that they are not coming to England. What does that tell you? Like he said, his words are already a vindicator for him.
Yes.
He said Britain will be. He said Nigeria will be as useless as Somalia.
Yes.
Somalia will be better. But the only pain is that he did not mention Britain, how bad Britain will be. We know Britain will be to Islam, but how bad, how useless. They will start begging very soon. You see, they are trying, they look at it as if Africa is a small fish to catch. If they can catch the whole of Britain, whole Britain, Great Britain, they call them in those days. No longer that. Now you want to fight America? Who born you? That you want to fight America? Because America saw what they are doing. And I pray and hope that after Donald Trump's 4 years, that the person that will come and take over from Donald Trump should be Donald Trump Jr.
The Americans are wise now. They will never allow this thing to enter Democrats again, because they know Donald Trump have opened the way and opened their eyes. So they will never allow anything to enter the Islamic hand, because anything that makes this leadership to come out of Donald Trump's control, you understand, then America is ruined, because America was already on the pedestal of destruction.
Absolutely.
And if they succeeded, they would have been able to take over the whole world.
Of course.
Trump is the one that is stopping. They are taking over the whole world now. It's Donald Trump that is stopping it.
But how come Britain is not seeing it? And they said Anglican came from here.
No,
the Christianity, this so-called Christian came from here. How come they are not?
There's no more Christianity in Britain. Britain is aware and they are responsible for this collapse. They are responsible. They have already sold their churches in England.
Yes, to Muslims, to mosques.
Yes,
they turned them to mosques.
Yes.
They turn all of them to mosques. The only people that go to churches here, they are the old people. Only old people. When you see a church that have youth, know that it's a foreign church. It's a foreign church, people like us, that their kids goes to church. Those are the young kids you will see on the street. They go to the street. You know, one time you came to UK and you went to Oxford, you went to everywhere to go and preach the gospel of Biafra. You remember
Yes.
Those are the kind of things our children are doing right now. Those are the people, and do you know what? The British police are fighting them. That they must not preach on the streets. They arrest them. The boys are resisting them. That's why, because they understand the law. They've challenged them to that thing. How can you be fighting somebody that's whole ordinary walking, talking, a microphone and say, give your life to Christ, and you will fight innocent boy that is not criminal, that is not doing any dodgy business? All he's doing is to open. But if it is a Muslim that is doing that, then it's okay. Britain, my brother, way before now, Britain is gone. Onyedu said it, and it remains so. You understand? And the people that are standing to block Onyedu appeal, you see, they will sleep, they will not wake up.
You say?
They will sleep, they will not wake up.
Say?
For Maxwell to go there and let the whole world know what is going on and wonder where can they go to see how do they call it, CROC or CCC or whatever they call all this you know, ICC. Can they go there to complain, to say this is what Nigeria is doing, even though they have their delegates there?
Yeah, the lawyer is filing a case. I've already filed. Bruce Fenn is filing cases in ICC. They are doing all that. You know, Nigeria attention is being called. Only that they keep resisting it. But the truth is that for how long will they resist it? Because by the time, you know, only small warning Trump gave to them, they are not head scatter. By the time Trump will now carry that matter of Nnamdi Kanu
for head
topic.
Yes,
that's how you understand that.
And I hope Finland is seeing it. I hope Finland is seeing what our Oyendu is going through. That they jailed him without no law, no sitting law, no written law. I hope Finland is watching, because they came to report that our Obatobia is destroying those so-called zoo. So now that this Obatobia is not there, did they see what? At least they saw what they did to his father, and so that they can retrace their step back for the mistake that they have done and compensate him. They cannot lock him there for over many years now, and you think you just give him you are acquitted, go home. You must compensate him, and you must do according to what the court will say at that time. My brother, I'm here with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my beloved sister. Now, I want us to also listen to another expose on the connection, the link between Tinubu and the captured president of Venezuela. So some of these things are going to be adding up very soon. Don't be surprised if America will send their next SWAT team. Don't be surprised though if America send their next SWAT team to Nigeria to extract this criminal president they have there.
$50,000.
Don't be surprised. So let's see what is the link or the connection between Nicolas Maduro, and the current criminal drug lord in Nigeria.
Bola Tinubu Maduro and the shocking drug ties. They don't want you to know. We are exposing the biggest secret the most powerful people in the world do not want you to know. For years, people have been warning that the whole system is corrupt, that innocent people get locked up for telling the truth, while the guilty run free. Well, today we're going to prove it. What if the leader of Africa's biggest nation and a South American dictator were connected by a secret so insane it could change everything? This isn't a theory. We found the evidence they left behind. It's a trail of power built on secrets and unimaginable profits from the global drug trade. On one side, you have Bola Tinubu, the president of Nigeria. On the other, Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela. They're separated by an entire ocean, different continents, and completely different cultures. But today we are going to connect the dots. It's like two chefs in two different countries who have never met but are both cooking from the exact same poisonous recipe book. We are going to expose their shared blueprint, the secret narco-political DNA that links these two men.
2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2 men. 2
This is the story of how drug money allegations became a footnote in the halls of power, a secret that proves everything we've been warned about. The Tinubu file, the ghost in Chicago. Our first stop is 1990s Chicago. The FBI, DEA and IRS were investigating a massive heroin trafficking ring run by Nigerian nationals. So where does Bola Tinubu fit in? Federal investigators found a ton of bank accounts holding millions of dollars. And according to a sworn statement by an IRS special agent, there was probable cause to believe this money came from selling narcotics. And guess whose name was on those accounts? Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Faced with this evidence, Tinubu decided not to fight it. He made a deal. On September 15th, 1993, he agreed to give the United States government $460,000. Let's be super clear about what this means. His defenders will say he was never criminally charged, which is technically true. The case was a civil forfeiture. It's like the government didn't arrest you for robbing a bank, but they took the $500,000 in cash you had because they traced it back to the vault. A civil forfeiture lets the government take stuff tied to a crime without convicting the person. So ask yourself, why would an innocent man let the government just keep almost $500,000 that they officially linked to a heroin ring? For decades, the full details were hidden. These files are like a locked treasure chest from 30 years ago. Thanks to some lawsuits, a US judge has ordered them to be opened. But the release has been hit with delay after delay and might not happen until 2026 or 2027. After 30 years, you have to ask, what is in that file that they are so desperate to hide? The Maduro file, the narco state dictator. Now we're jumping across the entire Atlantic Ocean to Venezuela, a country run by a man the US Department of Justice has literally called a narco-terrorist. In March 2020, the US unsealed an insane indictment against Nicolas Maduro and his top guys for narco-terrorism, conspiracy to import cocaine, and illegal weapons charges. The indictment says Maduro and his friends were leaders of the Cartel of the Suns. That name is a crazy reference to the sun symbols on the uniforms of high-ranking Venezuelan generals. Imagine if your city's fire department started selling gasoline to arsonists instead of putting out fires. That's what the US government says happened. They claim Maduro turned his entire government into a machine for moving hundreds of tons of cocaine. The US even accused them of working with terrorist groups to flood the United States with cocaine and put a $50 million bounty on his head. For years, Maduro held on to power, but in a crazy turn of events in January 2026, the US military actually captured him in an operation in Caracas. He was flown to the United States to face the charges and pleaded not guilty in a Manhattan courtroom. This is unbelievable. Connecting the dots. The playbook of power. So, we have two leaders, an ocean apart. One gave up a fortune that US authorities said was linked to heroin. The other was literally captured and charged with being the kingpin of a narco-terrorism cartel. Is this just a crazy coincidence? The establishment wants you to think so. But they're not asking the right question. The question isn't, are Tinubu and Maduro sending secret messages to each other? The real question is, are they using the same secret playbook? And the answer seems to be yes. This is the shared DNA. Step 1 of the playbook. Get insane wealth from questionable sources. For Tinubu, it was accounts linked to heroin trafficking. For Maduro, it was allegedly corrupting an entire country to profit from cocaine.
We have a caller, I don't know. Let's see what our caller have to say. Hello, caller.
Hello, brother. Good evening.
In the program, my name, because I was playing a video while you were calling.
Yes, no, because I wanted to say something about the point our sister make for about Britain. You know.
Okay, go ahead.
What is this? I greet you.
Thank you. Good evening, my brother.
Understand right?
Yeah.
Britain, if I may say, the Christian Catholic Church, right?
Yeah.
They are the one that form Muslim. Listen to me. Listen to me. If you go in the scripture, it's in the book of Ezekiel and it's in the Revelation again. Remember the place in the Revelation where they say that a woman that's sitting in the desert drinking wine with a golden cup and supplying her children with oil. You remember? Now, let me explain to you before I drop. That woman go and look at the book of Ezekiel. He have 2 sons, right? And the senior brother, the senior one, he described the way he will know him, the way they dress and everything. He said his first son dressed with purple and gold and this, and the first son is drinking wine during the service in the altar. That is Catholic Church, right? And he said that his second son will say in the desert, dip his feet inside the oil. Right? Now, the only religion in the desert is Saudi. Only religion in the desert today is the Saudi. Where they go to the pilgrimage. Now, how did the woman drink blood now? That blood that he's saying. Every year they went to the Mecca for pilgrimage. And many people died. Many people died there. They call it swan pit. The demons have taken the blood. And he was surprised the children with her urine, that is oil. And he said that his second son, that we driving his car we made with diamond and gold. Go and look at all the cars where Dubai and the Saudi they drive. It's in the book of Ezekiel. Everything is open there. This thing that Britain is doing, they know what they are doing. They are supporting the Muslims because that is why Catholic Church have a reverend sister. They pray chaplet. Muslims have reverend sister. Muslims pray chaplet as well. Okay? So Britain know what they are doing, and then they know what where they are going. Understand?
Yes.
And the man, if you go and look deep, you will see that the first king of Britain and the second king is a Muslim. Go and check. Go and look at this history. Okay. They are Muslim. British monarch, yeah, they are Muslim. Yeah. But that is what I wanted to contribute. So their problem, they bring their problem with themselves because of Biafra. Thank you, Mazi.
Ndewo. Thank you very much for your own observation. Quite interesting. Thank you so much. All right. We have a lot. Our Biafrans were very smart and very intelligent. Our brother is exposing in his own level of awareness. So let's quickly get back to this video. The busting of Tinubu and his link with Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela, the drug cartels. Nigeria, of course, Nigeria, you know that you have a drug lord as a president. Now you can see the connection. You can see the reason why Nigerian government, they are not happy of what Donald Trump did in Venezuela. Of course, the next port of call will be Aso Rock if they don't allow Nnamdi Kanu to go.
United States with cocaine and put a $50 million bounty on his head. For years, Maduro held on to power, but in a crazy turn of events in January 2026, the US military actually captured him in an operation in Caracas. He was flown to the United States to face the charges and pleaded not guilty in a Manhattan courtroom. This is unbelievable. Connecting the dots. The playbook of power. So, we have two leaders, an ocean apart. One gave up a fortune that US authorities said was linked to heroin. The other was literally captured and charged with being the kingpin of a narco-terrorism cartel. Is this just a crazy coincidence? The establishment wants you to think so. But they're not asking the right question. The question isn't, are Tinubu and Maduro sending secret messages to each other? The real question is, are they using the same secret playbook? And the answer seems to be yes, this is the shared DNA. Step 1 of the playbook. Get insane wealth from questionable sources. For Tinubu, it was accounts linked to heroin trafficking. For Maduro, it was allegedly corrupting an entire country to profit from cocaine. Check. Step 2. Corrupt the government. Just like Maduro allegedly turned his military into a cartel, in Nigeria, questions about a leader's past are ignored, while 30-year-old US files are kept secret. The very institutions meant to deliver justice are used as shields for the powerful. Check step 3. Build a myth of being untouchable. They survive scandals that would destroy literally anyone else. It's like they're wearing scandal-proof armor where the craziest accusations just bounce off. Check. This is the exact pattern that people like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have been shouting about from Radio Biafra for years. He saw that any system that lets men with pasts like these rise to the very top is completely broken. And for saying this, he is in a dungeon. The connection between Tinubu and Maduro isn't a secret meeting. It's the shocking realization that a global playbook for narco-funded politics exists, and it's actually working. The story of Bola Tinubu and Nicolas Maduro shows that in the world we live in, having alleged ties to the drug trade no longer stops you from getting the highest job in a country. This isn't about politics. It's about a global shadow network that might be using money from human misery to put its chosen leaders in power and protect them. The evidence is all there if you're willing to look. The court documents in Chicago, the federal indictment in New York, the fact that decades-old files are still being kept secret, it all points to the same mind-blowing conclusion. This is the secret they do not want you to know, the truth they will try to bury. But the pattern is undeniable. The blueprint is exposed, and now you see it too. Your first mission, you have to share this video. The people in power will try to suppress this message, so it is your duty to spread it far and wide. If you found this useful, like, share, and comment respectfully with your perspective.
Thank you very much, and God bless you. So you've heard it, you've seen it. All their bubbles are being busted by the day. Please, if you want to call in, you can already begin to call in or make comments, and then let's see.
But I want to ask a little bit of question. You know, during Jonathan time, this so-called what's his name, president at that time in America, Obama. Obama made Jonathan to step down. Meanwhile, Jonathan is not a criminal. Jonathan have not been caught with drugs or money laundering or going to university as a girl, coming out as a man. None of those kind of things against Jonathan. Yet, Obama said Jonathan should step down. Now that Trump knows that this man is a criminal, this man is doing everything possible to hide, to cover up Maduro or whatever his name is, and the cartel of drugs and that. Can Trump tell Tinubu to step down for the genuine person to come in like Obama did? Because this is not fair.
Obama did not say step down. What Obama did was Obama supported the election. Obama campaigned for the election that they used to rig Jonathan out.
Yes.
Yeah, it was an election that they used to rig Jonathan out of office, and Jonathan knew that it was fraudulent, but he knew that
they will unalive him if he did not accept.
Yes, and again, many lives will be lost and all that. He didn't want to fight it. He just allowed them to go like that. But this time around, it is Nigerians that know what they want. We are not interested in their game of politics, because if we are involved in that now, telling Donald Trump to ask Tinubu to step down,
so that he will pick Tinubu the way he picked this man, because they are not making people safe. They are not letting people.
It is at their discretion. If they want to do that, it's at their discretion. Our own is to expose them, and our own is to make sure that we get our freedom, our own rights. Our own right is what we're asking for. We're not interested in their game. It is Nigerians that are the 250 million Nigerians that this drug launch is over their neck. It is left for them to decide whether to continue to live with a drug lord as a president, or whether to go into a revolution and listen to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and fight for their freedom. It's left for them. So that is their own business, my dear sister. So we're not going to ask Donald Trump to ask Tinubu to step down. If whatever they are doing, if they refuse to do the right thing, of course, it is left for Donald Trump to know to fight in the interest of the citizens. If they continue to support this terrorism, then Donald Trump should act. Or if they continue to go into fraudulent elections that they never win, and Donald Trump should act. And then people can begin to call for that kind of help. It is left for them. Thank you, my sister, for that question. Yeah. So anybody that wants to call can call, and then there are some videos I might want to play for awareness of what's happening. Allah Ejimako made a statement because some people are comparing how Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped from Kenya to what Donald J. Trump did to the illegitimate president of Venezuela. The Allah Ejimako says something. At law, there is a significant difference between what happened to Nicolas Maduro and Nnamdi Kanu. Whereas Maduro is an alien enemy, legally captured, he was legally captured in an act of war. Nnamdi Kanu is a private citizen, illegally renditioned through a criminal conduct by a state. Some of these fools in the zoo, you hear that why are you supporting Donald Trump? What he did to Venezuela? It is the same thing that Nigeria did to Nnamdi Kanu. No. It's not the same thing. That's exactly what Allah Ejimako just explained in his post right here, where you have these pictures of Maduro and Nnamdi Kanu. And then he said, at law, there's a significant difference between what happened to Nicolas Maduro and Nnamdi Kanu. There's a big difference. You can't compare the two. You understand? So he continued to explain. He said, whereas Nicolas Maduro and Nnamdi Kanu, whereas Maduro is an alien enemy, he was legally captured in an act of war. But Nnamdi Kanu is a private citizen, illegally renditioned through a criminal conduct by the Zoological Republic of Animal Kingdom called Nigeria. So you can see that there. And for those of you making that comparison, open your eyes and know that there's no comparison at all. And Nnamdi Kanu was visited by the Jewish leader in Nigeria. And he's a Nigerian Jewish leader visited Nnamdi Kanu in Sokoto prison, and he demanded his immediate release. So this is a good one also. He's going to get the attention of Benjamin Netanyahu to do the needful if they continue to hold Nnamdi Kanu. Benjamin Netanyahu must do the needful, very, very important. So I think that being said, I want to play another video. What sister, please, if you want to make a comment on anything about UK, about Nnamdi Kanu, please go ahead. But I have a load of other videos, but I'm just going to play one because this one is long. This lady here gave very powerful interpretation of what Donald J. Trump is doing and how it impacts both Americans and the world at large. Trump isn't going to Davos to negotiate. He's delivering terms of surrender. His team has already withdrawn from 66 globalist bodies and is tracking the money behind domestic chaos. The reoffensive is underway. This lady is powerful. She has been speaking a lot. I don't know whether I should play that video first or I should. There's so many updates here. There's so many updates here, but let me just play that video. And then if there's a caller or any interruption, we can attend to any other thing.
Economic Forum.
Hold on.
Is Davos ready for Donald Trump? In less than 2 weeks, the president is going to march his full economic team into the World Economic Forum in Switzerland. You could say he's walking into the lion's den, except that he's the lion. And the globalists know it. Yesterday, the New York Times shrieked that Donald Trump has set himself above international.
I love what this woman said. It said,
Baba, please. Baba,
I can hear you.
she said, he's walking into the lion's den, but except he is the
He's the
lion
lion.
himself.
Yes, that's
So
what
tell me, if Donald Trump is the lion himself, so whose den is he entering that he cannot squash? So everything
I'm
must go
telling you.
down. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. So is that some people will say, Davos, Davos is in Switzerland, where all these world powers, these people, these globalists, they gather to come and reveal their agenda. That's where they will come and tell you global warming is coming, Africa is overpopulated, we need to reduce population. All those gang of big Gates and the rest of them, they gather there. And funny enough, that's a place they never believed Donald Trump would ever come and deliver speeches. Before when Donald Trump was there the first time, those people that were there in that Davos, some of them were asked before if Donald Trump will ever be president. They said, lie, Donald Trump can never be president. For their eye, Donald Trump became president, and when he came there, he will just tear them off and tell them what nonsense they are doing, and all this their global warming nonsense, and all this their green life, and all this whatever, And now Donald Trump is coming back again, and this lady will say, he's walking into a lion's den. But the truth is that he is himself is a lion. So if he
Baba, do you know why they said no? He's not coming back to be a president again. No, he can never come back. Do you know why? Because they have planned to unalive him.
Yes.
They try so many occasions. Not that he cannot win.
Yes.
They know he's going to win.
Yes.
But their plan is that we are going to unalive him before he gets there. That's why it's their plan. That's why they said no, he can never. Did you see that? They have planned. But little do they know that Donald Trump is ahead of
far
them.
ahead of them.
They don't know.
Far ahead of them. And not only is he far ahead of them, Donald Trump is in God's program for this end time. Believe me, Donald Trump is in God's own program. He is the only one that God has set apart to dismantle the globalist movement. All these Illuminati, when you hear about Illuminati, it's a globalist movement. Donald Trump is the only one that could look them in the face and tell them, because I am sitting in the Oval Office in America, and America is the world superpower, you cannot do that thing you're planning to do. You can't. So let's hear what the analysis of this lady. I really love it. Let's hear it. I want her to start again.
Is Davos ready for Donald Trump? In less than 2 weeks, the president is going to march his full economic team into the World Economic Forum in Switzerland. You could say he's walking into the lion's den, except that he's the lion. And the globalists know it. Yesterday, the New York Times shrieked that Donald Trump has set himself above international law. They wrote, on topic after topic, President Trump made clear he would be the arbiter of any limits to his authority, not international law or treaties. But it's not international law they're worried about. It's their entire globalist system. And that is what Trump was actually telling the New York Times. And that is exactly what he's going to tell the gathered so-called international elite at Davos. He's crippled their dirty money laundromat in the Caribbean with the Venezuelan operation. He's declared war on the economic cartels, and he's withdrawn from 66 international organizations that are used to enforce globalist policies.
Are you hearing it? Donald Trump have withdrawn from 66 international communities that all these American presidents, all the American world powers have been involved in, where they control everything and make life miserable for everybody, where they decide your fate and they ruin your destiny. Donald Trump, with his own veto power, have withdrawn America from 66 of these global, entities.
International law or treaties. But it's not international law they're worried about. It's their entire globalist system. And that is what Trump was actually telling the New York Times. And that is exactly what he's going to tell the gathered so-called international elite at Davos. He's crippled their dirty money laundromat in the Caribbean with the Venezuelan operation. He's declared war on the economic cartels, and he's withdrawn from 66 international organizations that are used to enforce globalist policies. Now, you're not supposed to notice any of that. You're supposed to be caught up in the play-by-play of the Minnesota ICE shootings, while the Democratic foot soldiers and the controlled media try to spin up their irregular warfare operations here at home. Well, Trump and his team aren't going to let them get away with that. Both J.D. Vance and Scott Besson made that clear in the past 2 days.
What that headline leaves out is that woman is part of a broader left-wing network to attack, to dox, to assault, and to make it impossible for our ICE officers to do their job.
I'm Susan Kokinda, and I've seen how for decades the enemy keeps the American people in check by trapping them on the battlefields that the enemy chooses in order to keep patriots away from the real fight, which is bringing down the British imperial system. Well, Donald Trump is...
Do you hear that? What Donald Trump is actually bringing down is British imperial system. You see, Britain is the one playing this world global game. British imperial system. You can now imagine the powers that are holding Nnamdi Kanu. Britain is on a global scale. That's why we need to continue to call the attention of President Donald J. Trump. And the lawyers of Nnamdi Kanu should understand. I don't know what has happened to the letter Nnamdi Kanu wrote to Donald J. Trump. I keep asking that question. I don't know whether people are actually asking that question. Did the American embassy make sure that that letter got to Donald J. Trump? Because Nnamdi Kanu wrote Donald J. Trump a letter. And this particular letter need to get to Donald J. Trump. If it hasn't gotten there, they should write another one or repost it direct to Donald J. Trump. Because the people playing this global game is Britain. And they're the ones holding us tied together with Nigeria. They're the ones responsible for the incarceration of Nnamdi Kanu in Sokoto prison. It's Britain. And they are the ones controlling this global game. They are the enemy that Donald Trump is actually cracking down. Britain is in alliance with China, Russia, against America. So the enemy here is massive. It's a mammoth enemy. So we need to continue to not...
If that letter is not public, can they make it public?
But the letter was
so
public
that
now. We read it. It was public.
Okay, so can we keep on reposting it until it will get to somebody? If at all the so-called embassy, the American embassy in Nigeria has sat on it and they are not bringing it out to Donald Trump, we can still do the job. I think they will have to bring the letter out again so that we can do.
We need to find out. We need to ask our lawyer Jimako what happened to the message. To the message Nnamdi Kanu sent to Donald J. Trump.
Yes. Then secondly, again, you know, the reason why Britain is fighting against America now. You know, one time, where the king now, Charles, asked Donald Trump to come. When he came, perhaps, this is my own observation, maybe he refused their terms and conditions of this so-called global whatever, hiding under people's carpet, dealing with the so-called war that they will say is global warming or not global warming. So maybe the king must have tried and lobbied Donald Trump not to do what he's doing. And the guy said, no, this is your cartel. I'm not into it. I want to do the right thing because the children of God are the ones suffering it more. And we have to take this kingdom by force. That is why now all of them are turning against Trump because Britain could not hold him captive. Britain could not bend him.
Very well.
You understand? Now, when Britain knows that America is not with them anymore, they now turn to Russia and China. You understand? That is what they are doing right now. And we are not surprised. And Donald Trump is not surprised. Donald Trump is telling them, bring it on. We can play the game. That is what we are telling them. Britain is gone. You must withdraw your hand from Biafra. If not, this one. Now, my man, you people will start being a refugee in Biafra land. You'll be a refugee in that place that you just played that tape now.
Iran.
Where
Iran.
is that? Iran. You will be a refugee, not just only there. You will be a refugee. Time is coming, and you know the French, they know already about it. Since Burkina Faso left their hand, they knew that hunger is coming. It will only take time. They know the hunger that will hit them. They will stomp. The table will turn around. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you very much. Very, very good point you just made there. So I think after I would need to go and look for that post. It won't be far from Aloy Ejimako's handle. I think that letter was openly, posted. We need to go back there, reread that letter again, make broadcasts about it, and also those that have Aloy Ejimako's contact, please get across to Aloy Ejimako. Find out from him what happened to the letter that you sent through American consulate to the President of the United States of America. What happened to that letter? Nnamdi Kanu did not just wake up to write a letter. He was led, inspired by Chukwu Abiyama to write that letter. So I don't know what has happened to that letter, and I don't know if they are actually pushing to make sure Donald J. Trump responds to that letter, at least acknowledges that he has received that letter. To acknowledge that he has received that letter, and it is important if it is made openly, better, or at least the acknowledgement will be important, because one of the House of Rep that in their sitting when they were calling for this investigation into what's happening in Nigeria, one of them actually cited Nnamdi Kanu's predicament in Nigeria, which was very, very important. It was a highlight that was very, very important, which I posted on my X, and I said people should keep making that video go viral, because that particular point about the case of Nnamdi Kanu that is our own concern. Nigeria can burn for all I care. Nigeria can rot. We don't care. In fact, that's what we want. But all that concerns us is our leader, Nnamdi Kanu, coming out of that their useless, hopeless dungeon, and then spearheading our return home to Arochukwu. Then let's continue to play this video.
Is part of a broader left-wing network to attack, to dox, to assault, and to make it impossible for our ICE officers to do their job.
I'm Susan Kokinda, and I've seen how for decades the enemy keeps the American people in check by trapping them on the battlefields that the enemy chooses in order to keep patriots away from the real fight, which is bringing down the British imperial system. Well, Donald Trump is taking that system on, and if that's the fight you want to be a part of, I need you to hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons so we can stay in touch and we can expand our reach on YouTube. Here's what we're going to cover today. How Trump is going to deliver the terms of surrender at Davos, that the Trump administration has already taken a direct strike on 66 transnational organizations, and how Treasury Secretary Bessent is bringing the fight right home here in Minnesota. So in less than 2 weeks, Donald Trump lands in Davos, and he's bringing with him a demolition crew. He's bringing Treasury Secretary Bessent, Commerce Secretary Lutnick, Energy Secretary Wright, Trade Representative Greer, and don't forget Trump's close confidant and diplomat of all trades, Steve Witkoff.
Demolition crew. I love that. I love the title they gave, the demolition crew.
Why this group? Because they represent all the elements that are replacing the British liberal free trade system. Lutnick and Greer are going to tell them that the era of sending American manufacturing capacity overseas and gutting our middle and working classes is over. Bessent is there to cut off the capital flows that prioritize global financial income streams over American wages. And Chris Wright, well, he's the walking refutation of the entire insane green agenda. And Steve Witkoff, well, he's the guy who gets things done for Donald Trump. But to really understand what Trump is doing in Davos, you're going to have to understand where Davos comes from. It was started in 1971. That was the year the British Empire dismantled the Bretton Woods financial system. That is the system that had stabilized economies in the post-war world. So the World Economic Forum was launched to begin to manage this post-1971 period. Everyone knows it was created by Klaus Schwab. But he had been mentored by Henry Kissinger at Harvard in the late 1960s. And let's not forget that Kissinger, later on, when he was Secretary of State, went on to say that in his Secretary of State capacity, he kept the British Foreign Office more closely informed than he did the State Department. So the establishment of the WEF in 1971 wasn't a coincidence. It was a transfer of power. As they killed off the power of sovereign governments to control their own credit, they built up a new temple for the transnational corporations that would rule in their place. And for 55 years, Davos has become one of the nodal points of this empire, and probably the most well-known. They don't use armies, they use ideology, and they have applied the ideology of the British Empire to the 21st century, and they've hijacked the world until now. And for all those years, researchers at Promethean Action have been exposing those operations, whether it's the WEF or the Council on Foreign Relations, or the neoconservatives or their free trade ideology, and all the other groups and policies. More importantly, we know how to defeat them. So if you want to get into the real battle, head on over to Promethean Action and subscribe to our free newsletter, because we will continue to give you the up-to-date coverage of what Trump is really doing. Because in 10 days, Trump is going to the WEF. And contrary to the claims of the naggers and the heel biters within the MAGA movement, Donald Trump is not going to Switzerland to play nice with the Davos men. He and his team are arriving with a fully activated American system alternative to their policies of globalism and imperialism, and he will be laying down the terms of surrender. Now, he's already laid down some covering fire before his team heads out, hitting them exactly where it hurts, their networks of soft power. Just 3 days ago, the White House released a new finding withdrawing the United States from 66 international organizations, conventions, and treaty. Marco Rubio made clear they're pulling the plug on what he called a sprawling architecture of global governance, which, as he put it, serves the same elite networks of the multilateral NGO complex. And then Rubio drilled down on what this apparatus really is. He said, from DEA mandates to gender equality campaigns to climate orthodoxy, many international organizations now serve a globalist project rooted in the discredited fantasy of the end of history. These organizations actively seek to constrain American sovereignty. Now, the organizations that the U.S. is withdrawing from include the full gamut of green enforcement institutions that have been set up in the last few decades to enforce the carbon dioxide is poison policy,
Climate change,
which is supposed to make nations deindustrialize. Also, some of these institutions that we're withdrawing from go all the way back to the very foundation of the UN in the late 1940s. And if you go back to the early days of the UN, you'll find people like Julian Huxley letting it all hang out as to the British plans for the UN, which, by the way, were contrary to Franklin Roosevelt's intentions. Huxley was the grandson of Thomas Huxley. Thomas had been the president of the British Royal Society, and he served on Queen Victoria's Privy Council in the heyday of the 19th century form of British imperialism. Julian was groomed to administer the same policies in their 20th century form, and so he became the first head of UNESCO when the UN was founded, where he took up several projects. First, he laid out what the purpose of UNESCO was. He said, in its educational program, it can stress the ultimate need for world political unity and familiarize all people with the implications of the transfer of full sovereignty from separate nations to a world organization. Remember what Marco Rubio just said? These organizations actively seek to constrain American sovereignty. And Huxley also had the slightly more delicate task of repackaging one of the empire's most evil policies, race science or eugenics. Here's what Huxley said in 1948. Even though it's quite true that any radical eugenic policy will be for many years politically and psychologically impossible, it will be important for UNESCO to see that the eugenic problem is examined with the greatest care and that the public mind is informed of the issues at stake so that much that now is unthinkable may at least become thinkable. Let's not mince words. Huxley is saying Hitler gave eugenics a bad name, and we have to reframe it in the post-war world, and we're going to use these institutions to do it. So Huxley and many of the other card-carrying eugenicists became founders of the environmentalist movement, which ultimately metastasized into the green fascist organizations that the Trump administration just shut down. So by withdrawing from these 66 organizations and treaties, Trump and his team are stating clearly the U.S. is no longer abiding by your green zero growth policies, your human rights frauds that protect terrorists, and your Malthusian population reduction schemes. But the enemy doesn't just operate out of Davos or the UN. They have tentacles right here in the heartland of America. The chaos we're seeing in Minnesota and in other cities, the attacks on ICE, the rioting, this isn't organic. It's the same spider web. But the media is trying to keep you fixated on every new camera angle of the shooting in Minneapolis. Vice President J.D. Vance addressed the real issue.
What that headline leaves out is that that woman is part of a broader left-wing network to attack, to dox, to assault, and to make it impossible for our ICE officers to do their job. If the media wants to tell the truth, they ought to tell the truth that a group of left-wing radicals have been working tirelessly, sometimes using domestic terror techniques to try to make it impossible for the President of the United States to do what the American people elected him to do, which is enforce our immigration laws.
Vance is holding the shield, but Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is drawing the sword. While the media focuses on the street violence, Bessent is looking at the apparatus that funds it. He just announced a full investigation of the fraud surrounding the daycare centers and much, much more. He made clear that the Treasury's enforcement arm, FinCEN, along with the IRS, will be looking at financial institutions and at 501c3s. He's tracking the money that moves from the same globalist foundations that interface with the UN, that used to interface with USID before Trump shut it down, and other institutions. He's looking at how this moves directly into the accounts of domestic groups burning down our cities, and he's putting them all on notice.
We track, we follow the money, and we intend to follow it as much as we can, prosecute the individuals no matter where they are, whether they are in the Minnesota government or they are sitting in East Africa. We will find them.
Then Bessent made clear that this isn't just about daycare centers, that these are the same methods used by the cartels, and they will be investigated in the same way.
We view this crime as very similar to the cartels' money laundering, many of the same approaches, many of the same shell companies. So we will see where it goes out from here. That will be a starting point. And as I said, Minnesota is going to be the protocols, the procedures, and the investigative techniques, as well as the collaboration with other agencies. Minnesota is going to be the genesis for a national rollout.
Catch that last comment? This is a national rollout. These are all intertwined networks, the fraud, the cartels, drug money laundering, and the foot soldiers who are rioting and impeding ICE. This is the bottom of the apparatus that goes up through the global banking institutions, the UN, the NGOs, and the WEF. And Donald Trump is taking them on all at once. So let's step back and see what Trump has done in just the first 10 days of 2026. He smashed their offshore money laundering operations in the Caribbean. He's withdrawn from 66 transnational organizations and treaties that have been strangling American sovereignty, some since the UN was founded. His Treasury Secretary is now following the money right into the NGOs and the 501c3s that fund the foot soldiers attacking our law enforcement agents on American streets. This is a coordinated strike on every level of the spiderweb, from Davos to Minneapolis. So, sure, the New York Times is screaming that Trump has set himself above international law. Good, because their international law was never law. It was a cage built to keep America trapped inside a system designed by the British Empire and administered by their globalist heirs.
A system designed by the British Empire. British Empire is the enemy of every humanity. Repeat that line again. A system designed by the British Empire.
Strangling American sovereignty, some since the UN was founded. His Treasury Secretary is now following the money right into the NGOs and the 501c3s that fund the foot soldiers attacking our law enforcement agents on American streets. This is a coordinated strike on every level of the spiderweb, from Davos to Minneapolis. So, sure, the New York Times is screaming that Trump has set himself above international law. Good, because their international law was never law. It was a cage built to keep America trapped inside a system designed by the British Empire and administered by their globalist heirs.
And administered by their globalists, by their globalist system. British Empire is still trying to rule the world, but Donald Trump is the distraction they have. Donald Trump is the only one that can stop them. And that's why you see them hating on Donald Trump.
Never law. It was a cage built to keep America trapped inside a system designed by the British Empire and administered by their globalist heirs. Donald Trump is taking a jackhammer to that system. So if you want to stay focused on this, not the play-by-play distractions, but on the strategy to win the real war, then join us at Promethean Action. Get our free newsletter or become a paying member or a contributor. We need more people on the real battlefield mobilized to win this fight.
Ndeo, thank you very much. How many of you are aware of what happened to Chimamanda Adichie's son in Lagos, Nigeria? Nigeria happened to her. Nigeria happened to Chimamanda Adichie. And that's the last video I'm going to play. If there's any contribution, I will now open it for anyone to make. Chimamanda Adichie, she has been trying to speak about Biafra, about Nnamdi Kanu sometimes, and about her people. But this time around, Nigeria happened to her big time. Her son, she lost her son in Nigeria. Let's bring that video, and then from Don Azar's analysis. This is more reason why, if there's anything Chimamanda should be concerned more about, is the freedom of Biafra, and for us to have our own freedom. Because if we do, our health system will be top notch. This kind of a thing will not be happening. The way she lost her son. Let's listen to Don Azar's analysis.
Hello, you are welcome to this class. In this class, we're going to look at how our sister came to Nigeria with a baby to celebrate Christmas. Now, call the commot without the baby. And the matter, now big us come this class. Happy Sunday. Let's get started. Now, she be this. As you can see, Chimamanda Adichie accuses Lagos Hospital of negligence over death of toddler son. So you can see, medical negligence killed my son in Lagos Hospital. Chimamanda Adichie. So you can see, author Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's family accuses hospital of negligence over sons. As you can see, we are going to read from Arise News. It is not a fake news. According to Arise, they don't say they don't contact the writer and confirm say na she write am. So we go read that from here. But as they read them, if we see big medical word when layman no go understand, we go break am down. Okay? We go see wetin she experience. She thought say my son will be alive today if not for an incident. Wetin be incident? A serious and unexpected medical event that went wrong. As you can see, no be she write this one. No. Now me pull this one so that you go understand this particular one. Okay? The pikin for they alive today, but it call Apple say one incident call Apple for one hospital where she carry and go for Nigeria. And she called the name of the hospital Urake Hospital. And the date where he carry and go now 6th of January 2026. According to her, we were in Lagos for Christmas. She know they stay for Nigeria. Now writer where they stay for America. Very popular writer if you don't know her. Come bring her family, herself and the husband and the children. Say a pikin where they call Okanu had what we first thought was just a cold. They think in a code, but soon the thing come turn to serious infection. Infection na illness where it come by harmful germs where they spread inside body. Okay, and he was admitted into one hospital where they call Atlantis Hospital for Lagos. She thought say he was to travel to the US the next day because of the sickness. That was January 7th. Remember, this thing happened for 6th of January. And this journey where they won't carry the pikin go, so the pikin cannot just go with the parents. They call arrange traveling doctors where go follow the pikin as they go back to America. They go take care of her. And the hospital where they won't carry and go for America, now they call John Hopkins Hospital. And a team of doctors they wait for them for there say bring your pikin come. And this hospital they Baltimore for America. Now big hospital, world class hospital. They popular where they won't carry the pikin go. This hospital they sabi take care of complex cases. Okay, before we continue, make we understand the meaning of lumbar puncture, because now one of the things where they request from them be this why they did Nigeria. Wetin be this? It's a medical test where we say they will put needle for your back down here, your back. You can see it's a medical test where a needle is carefully inserted into the lower back to collect fluid from around the spinal cord to check for serious infections. As you can see, this is this woman's back, abi. Somewhere here, they go pull the needle to take fluid from your spinal.
Imagine the kind of delicate situation when this woman allowing son go undergo for Nigeria. Oh, God have mercy. Oh. Let's continue.
Woman's back, abi. Somewhere here, they go pull the needle to take fluid from your spinal to do some testing. Okay, you can see for this baby somewhere here, lumbar puncture. Another one where they say me they do might be MRI. Now when they use this type of machine scan person, they fit scan your brain, your organs, and this machine they use magnet to check every part of your body. They fit scan them. So you can see the hospital's team had asked for lumbar puncture and an MRI. Another thing now central line. Now you need to understand. What is the central line? A special tube inserted into a large vein near the neck, somewhere here. They will find one vein where they carry blood. They will put a needle to they give you medicine or medication. Okay? Into a large vein near the neck or chest, used to give strong medicine, fluids, or nutrition directly into the bloodstream. Okay? So you can see this person now. Now here be this abi. They come put this central line. You can see the central line. What they put on for your body like this, they feel they put many things to go through this vein through your body. Okay? The Nigeria team have also decided on their own, the America saying they do this one, decided to put in a central line in preparation for Uka's flight. Say the Peking need this type of thing. So the hospital where they carry Peking go, refer us to this other hospital. This was the first hospital, Atlantis, called referred to Urake, which was said to be the best place to have the procedures done. Now she they talk so, okay. She continued. The morning of the 6th that day, we left Atlantis Hospital for Urake. Ukanu carried in his father's arms. The papa carried him. They go to the other hospital. He thought say we were told he would need to be sedated. What to be sedated? Strong drug where they give person to sleep deeply or to stay still or calm when they do some sensitivities for the person's body to prevent him from moving during the MRI and the central line procedure. This is what they want put for here at the scanning. We need to make sure say whether they do one, the pikin no go shake body, so we go sedate am. Okay. Mama continue said, I was waiting just outside the theater. Theater now where they do operation or procedures. Okay. I saw people. Mama they talk so, including one Dr. M. She no complete the name. Rushing into the theater and immediately knew something had happened. While she was waiting, cause she said, doctor, they run. From there, she knows say something bad don't happen. We know the meaning of this first before we continue. No be she write this one, no. Wetin be propofol is a very strong anesthetic drug that puts patients into deep sleep and can stop breathing if overdose. Say this one na dey take dey sedate people. If they give you this one, you go just dey calm, you go sleep. They fit dey do operation. But if they give you overdose, fit kpai o. Now mo go back to wetin mama write. A short time later, Dr. N came out and told me Kanu had been given too much propofol by the anesthesiologist, the doctor responsible for giving anesthesia and monitoring breathing. Okay. Dr. Enko dey tell her say, doctor, when they say make put the pikin to rest, give her that drug so that the pikin go rest, they go do wetin they want do. The doctor give am overdose o. Hey! I had became unresponsive say, your pikin no dey move again o. Wahala don gas o, and was quickly resuscitated. Say they revive am o. But suddenly, Kanu was on a ventilator. Say immediately after they revive the pikin, they come put ventilator for pikin so that go fit dey breathe, and he was intubated. What is that? A plastic tube to push through his mouth into his airway to keep him breathing. Okay, the ventilator get wetin they go put for the pikin mouth or anybody so that the pikin or whoever that is using it go fit dey breathe. They can't do one to the pikin so that the pikin go fit dey breathe. A place in the ICU. They can't put am for ICU, intensive care unit. The next year ahead, say wetin she call here again. Now that the pikin get seizures. Pikin when they put ventilator, say the pikin get seizure. Wetin be seizure? Seizure na no seizure. The next one she hear, they say pikin don get cardiac arrest to heart wahala. That is the heart before the blood begin. All this has never happened before. Say all this what they tell us so never happened before they come to the hospital. That overdose don scatter everything o. Some hours later, Kanu was gone. Say pikin. It turns out that Kanu was never monitored. So what she call it a discover. They no monitor the pikin. After being given too much chloroform, see they no monitor the pikin. The anesthesiologist had just casually.
Oh my God, my God, my God, my God. Ah, God. Do you know, wait, I'm still going to play this. Do you know, I've been to hospitals. I've seen babies. When they put you through this procedure, they will have to put some of these their gadgets on your finger, on the baby, or on the leg, on the finger. The computer will be moving every minute. It will be moving to show that the baby is stable. Any small movement that is not regular, they will arrest it immediately. That's what they do here. When my wife was having my son, I was there. The thing was, they put the on her hand, on her stomach, to even be monitoring the movement of the child in the womb. They will know. Everything, when I come out, they say, the baby is okay, everything is okay. They will tell you the breathing rate of the child. This one I'm picking when they womb, and the one with their side. If they treat small picking, they put them for hand. They put them whether for a leg. That thing, they will monitor from screen to know what thing they happen, to the breath rates, the heartbeat, everything. They go overdose this picking. Zoological Republic of Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom. Even the best that they have is a death trap. The best that they have is a death trap. You can imagine. Do you know that the best of the best doctors are already out of Nigeria? The best students. They can pay the devil. So the leftover in Nigeria are the quacks you have. Those are the ones that are. Hey, boy, and you see the name of the baby, Nkanu. So it reminds me of if you take the N away, the name of the boy is Kanu. If you take the N away, the little boy's name is Kanu. Oh, Chineke Nnamo, Debuole Nwa.
It turns out that Kanu was never monitored. So what she call it a discover. They no monitor the pikin. Yes. After being given too much chloroform, see they no monitor the pikin. The anesthesiologist had just casually carried Kanu on his shoulder to the theater. Said, when pikin dey wahala like this, now don't say, now don't overdose am. Just carry am casually on your shoulder. They carry am go theater. You know, put up for machine. They run, they go there. You know that emergency environment now. Hey, now the mama they complain so. So nobody knows when exactly Kanu became or responsible. So they don't really know whether now when they leave am for ICU, when pikin dey ventilator, or now when they carry am for here, now pikin dey or responsible. Nobody fit tell. How can you sedate a sick child and neglect to monitor him? After you sedate this baby, you no monitor am. She talks a letter after the central line procedure. The anesthesiologist casually switch off Kanu's oxygen. After they put that central line, the person where they do the work, the doctor, come on baby, oxygen. And again, decided to carry him on his shoulder to the ICU. After you come on the oxygen, you come decide to casually carry the baby on your shoulder to the ICU instead of pushing.
So what will now happen during that period of moving the child from that point to the next point without that oxygen? Without that, you see why Nnamdi Kanu told you that is a zoo?
Is that not why they call it Animal Kingdom? I don't know why you are surprised. It's Animal Kingdom. All they do there is to unalive people. They don't do any other thing. Like you said, all good doctors and nurses, they are not there anymore. So what all those people they are, are nurses. You understand? Nobody is checking them out. Nobody is doing anything. You understand? So that innocent boy or child, Nigeria has happened to him. Nigeria has happened to him and the mother. Do you think the mother will want to come to Nigeria again, to that animal kingdom? The answer is no. How can you put baby on your shoulder, a sick child on your shoulder, and be running with it, running with the child? How?
You don't get oxygen. The beginning they put oxygen for him body. You remove the oxygen. You carry them, they go without the oxygen. Hey, Nigeria is zoological republic of animal kingdom. Let me allow Donaza to finish this thing.
Neglect to monitor him. After you sedate this baby, you no monitor him. She talks a letter after the central line procedure. The anesthesiologist casually switch off Kanu's oxygen. After they put that central line, the person where they do the work, the doctor, come on baby, oxygen. And again, decided to carry him on his shoulder to the ICU. After you come on the oxygen, you come decide to casually carry the baby on your shoulder to the ICU instead of pushing the baby with even the ventilator.
Yes.
They don't say the mama na writer.
Yes.
She sabi explain. Okay. The anesthesiologist was criminally negligent. It was fatally casual. Fatally casual. They don't say the mama na writer. Was fatally casual. Fatally, not just casual. Fatally casual and careless with the precious life of a child. No proper protocol was followed. We brought in a child who was unwell but stable. The pikin dey sick, but his condition was under control and not life-threatening.
Okay? For Nigeria, not sure that they go back to America. We can't hear parents with this. We can't hear parents with this. So, well, they wanted to show that they believe in Nigeria. They wanted to show that they have a big hospital in Nigeria. Hospital where the Nigeria, where una president no they go. Even this best of the best, none of the government officials attend any of those hospitals. Chimamanda, you wanted to you gamble the life of your son in Nigeria. If you were not able to go back to the US, it would have been a different thing altogether. Let me tell you guys a story. My past relationship, my ex marriage, the lady had an accident in Nigeria. Very dangerous accident. She fell inside the gutter and her leg broke. And then there were infections that must have entered her leg. That night, we got to the Naval Hospital in Ojo, the best hospital there. They didn't have lights. They used my phone, the light on my iPhone. Is what if I show you the leg of this woman, you won't believe it. The way in fact, I was one using the torch to show them because that was the best place we could approach. Navy town, where Navy officers, commanders, admirals, they said there was no lights. So they had to use my torchlight to fix the leg that was torn with some infection that must have entered it. I don't know what they did. They did. The next day, the leg was already swollen. You know what I did? I quickly called taxi and bundled it. I said, I'm going back to Italy. They said, no. She cannot travel. She's not safe. I said, me? Leave this one here? Overnight, even mosquito that beat us that night. I said, no way. My ticket, I have to move the next day. If my ticket was not ready, I have to move the next day. We have to change our flight, and quickly I had to call taxi. I called this thing. I bought a clutches for her. We have to travel. When we got to Italy, we went to the best hospital in Torino. Immediately, for you to know how wonderful these Western people are, on the flight, when they saw her, and because we were European residents, when they saw her with the clutch and everything, they had to give us priority with wheelchair from Mauritania Mohammed Airport down to France, because we flew through France. When we got to France to change our flight, they had to give us priority. We did not pass through the checking point because they knew that somebody was not feeling fine. We had to move her. Immediately, they called people, because while we were landing from the flight, they already told them that somebody that is not feeling fine is in the flight, and they had to wait for us. Immediately she came, the wheelchair was already waiting. The electric wheelchair was already, they moved up. We went and then boarded the next flight, and she was comfortably seated in the plane. When we got to Italy, the same thing was waiting for us with flyer. Immediately they were able to locate the hospital that was closer to us, to the airport. We had to move immediately to the hospital there. There they saw her. They said, man, this leg is something else. They look at it, they said, man, we need to move her to the best hospital in Torino. This is what they were telling me, that no, they will take care of it here. They have to sedate her and they have to look it because she cannot travel. I said, if I leave this woman here, she go die. My spirit just told me, if you are just the savior of this woman, if you leave her here, you own don't finish. That's why I take package. As we reach, we move her straight to ICU in Torino. They call it ICT hospital in Torino. We got there. When they saw this leg, they took X-ray. They told us that, thank God we came on time, because there was already some bad things happening to the leg. The thing was already going fast to her heart. They said if we didn't come, the infection was already almost cutting the leg, or almost going close to the heart. In less than 48 hours, so the infection went already entered our bloodstream. In less than 48 hours. Because what did they do for that hospital when we go? They cut the skin when the leg breaks. They cut them. The hospital, they were asking us, who cut these things? We said, I told them at the hospital. They said, what? Because those skin they cut off, they shouldn't have cut it off, because all they needed to do was to clean it up, dress it, because they would have need those skin to cover that place. What they now needed to do was to cut part of the skin on her lap to cover those skin that those bastards in that Navy hospital was tearing out with their knife. And they had to put one machine on her leg. They call it excavator. I was removing all the infection on the leg. She was in that hospital for almost 2 months. And when my doctor and our family doctor, when they called, I told her, this man here, she is your, after, if you say you are a Christian, you are Jesus, you serve Jesus. They told her after Jesus that she should know that I am the second God that she have. Because if I didn't bring her, that her leg, they would have cut it off. If I didn't bring her on time. So Chimamanda had the opportunity, a stable child, to fly him immediately. If you don't have the opportunity, then you can leave your luck to God. Do you think that those are these politicians that travel to America, to UK, to all these places, they know that the system they have in Nigeria, that they made to remain in Nigeria there, all those lack of medical care and everything, they know it will not be able to save them. That's why you see them traveling to France and traveling to all these places. So if this little boy was stable, Chimamanda took a gamble. She took a risk of allowing her own son, to be in that condition, to be treated there. It was terrible. Okay, let me play this to the end so that there's anybody that has something to say. But Nigeria should not happen to you this way. This is not good.
Who was unwell but stable. The pikin dey sick, but his condition was under control and not life-threatening. Okay? I scheduled to travel the next day. We came to conduct basic procedures, routine medical steps, not dangerous surgery. And suddenly, our beautiful little boy was gone forever. It is like living your worst nightmare I will never survive the loss of my child. We have now heard about 2 previous cases. He say, why did they mourn so? People don't tell them. Things like this are up for them before. Exactly the same thing. Of this same anesthesiologist where he do this work. Of doing what? Of overdosing children. Why did Iraqi allow him to keep working? Mama they ask, one as they allow him to work. After I know say this man don't buy some babies. As you can see, President Tinubu commiserates with Chimamanda Adichie on sons dismissed.
So President Tinubu can only commiserate with you to make it look like you're important. It is just like the devil. President Tinubu commiserating with you is like the devil commiserating with you. President Tinubu, my brother, to next, Chimamanda made a bloody hell of a mistake. They never knew it would turn out that way. How would they not know? How can you bank your trust and hope on Nigeria? It is when you don't have any option left. When you don't have any other option left, because your own leaders there, they don't leave their option to Nigeria. Even though they can afford that money, that particular money they pay in the hospital, they don't leave it for their option. Because they know that they have their first option will be to fly. This lady, she's a resident of the United States, and I believe she must have also gotten citizenship of America. So, and if her son was stable, she should have left them to carry out that process, whatever it is. There, your son is stable. Maybe you don't allow them to. You see the procedure they are talking about here, to go into the spinal cord, to take anesthesia on a little child, Nigeria. What it shows is that these people do not hate Nigeria enough. These people do not hate Nigeria enough, because you need to hate the zoo to the point whereby you want to avoid anything that will join you together with Nigeria. Anything that will end the zoo is what you should do, not to patronize zoo. If you have the opportunity of not patronizing zoo, then you do it. The way it will be better for you. How can you say they don't know to end like this? There's nothing that ends well in Nigeria. Nigeria is a death trap. Death trap, I'm telling you. Now, president is commiserating. Will president take himself or his child to that hospital?
To keep working. Mama they ask, one as they allow the work. After I know say this man don't buy some babies. As you can see, President Tinubu commiserates with Chimamanda Adichie on sons dismissed. Urake Hospital sympathizes with Chimamanda Adichie. Denies negligence claims in son's death. Okay? Here it says, the hospital has expressed condolence to Chimamanda Adichie's family while disputing allegations of medical negligence surrounding and son.
They are denying all these things that Chimamanda wrote. She's not fabricating it. She has written exactly her encounter. It's just like as I told you my own story. If I did not take the steps I took, I swear to my God, with what I encountered in the hospital here in Torino, going back and forth for more than 2 months to take care of my own, that somebody I took to the hospital for more than 2 months. Look, if that case was in Nigeria, she won't survive 1 week. That infection will take her life. I know. I knew how it would happen. I saw the mosquitoes that was eating us in that hospital that night. I saw the way and then I had the opportunity and the option the very next day to move myself out and get to a better place whereby I know that what happened to her is in her leg. I can at least move her. It's not something that, if I don't move her, she will die immediately. And God saved me, I did, because if I didn't do, she would have lost that leg. So you have the option, you take that option. Don't gamble your life in Nigeria. Nigeria is evil.
Death. Okay? Here it says, the hospital has expressed condolence to Chimamanda Adichie's family while disputing allegations of medical negligence surrounding and sourced by. You don't say so. What do you think? Drop it in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.
Ndewo. No. Nigeria. So you need to hate Nigeria enough. In fact, this should make her open another chapter on Nigeria. As far as Nigeria is concerned, the negligence the denier is another thing that should open her eyes, you know, to demand for an end to Nigeria. Because if Biafra is allowed to go, and then we have the best and the best in Biafra land, this lady will not carry her son to a Nigeria hospital. She is from Biafra land. She won't even be spending her Christmas in Lagos. She'll be spending her Christmas in Nnewi, in Iguacha, in Onitsha, in Okigwe. Then we will have very fantastic hospitals where the best healthcare you will get, not in a fabricated Nigeria system. What is, sister, if you have something to say, please, so that I will end this. This is heartbreaking, man. A little boy. Look how they just took. What is, sister, are you there? Your mic is muted in case you wanted to say something. What is, sister? Okay. Maybe you don't sleep. What is, sister? Are you still there? What is, sister? Are you there? Your mic is muted. You have to unmute in case. You have to be sure you want to say something. Otherwise, we'll just greet Biafrans and end it. It's past midnight where I am. What is, sister? Are you there? Okay, what is, sister is not here. Fellow Biafrans, I thank you for joining me tonight, and let's continue to support our leaders, and let's continue to support our Biafra government. Very pathetic, my brother Boniface. Very, very pathetic. Continue to support our leader, Nnamdi Kanu, our Prime Minister, through Biafra Republic government in exile, the BGC, CRC, and all the deceptions we are getting from these compromised individuals. Please, let's avoid it. Let's avoid it. Yeah, we don't need to pretend. We don't need to pretend about Nigeria anymore. Nigeria should be closed down. Nigeria should end for our lives to continue. Nigeria must end for our lives to continue. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my brother Boniface. I greet you. All right, Biafrans, my holiday is over. I will be resuming work tomorrow. So Toma will resume again in the morning by the grace of God. So see you guys tomorrow morning. Let me bring us the closing prayers. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Day one.
ezi onye nwe anyị na Chineke nna nke pụrụ m ihe niile, Chukwu okike abịa ma bụ onye anyị na-efe na-agọzi aha nsọ ya, onye ọbụla anyị ya na-achị, onye ọbụla anyị ya bụ ọka aka ụbọchị ndị ka anyị na-etinye eze ebube dị ngọzi, mmalite na ọgwụgwụ ndị gboo wee gụọ ga-ebido onye nwe ụmụ gị wee gbakọọ n'ụwa niile ewere ozi ọma nke gị onwe gị n'ezi ha.
The prayer is praying is coming double.
ezi onye nwe anyị na Chineke nna nke pụrụ m ihe niile, Chukwu okike abịa ma bụ onye anyị na-efe na-agọzi aha nsọ ya, onye ọbụla anyị ya na-achị, onye mmụọ na mmadụ na-erubere isi, onye ọbụla anyị ya bụ ọka aka ụbọchị ndị ka anyị na-etugha eze ebube dị ngọzi, mmalite na ọgwụgwụ ndị gboo wee tụọ oge ebighị ebi, onye nwe m ụmụ gị wee gbakọọ n'ụwa niile iwe nara ozi ọma nke gị onwe gị n'ezi ha site n'ọnụ mmadụ dị ndụ na nke ebere dị ngọzi. Anyị wee na-asị na onweghị ihe ọbụla nke anyị onwe anyị bụ n'ihi na ọ bụ anụkpa ahụ sọsọ ka mmadụ dị ndụ bụ. Ofu ụbọchị anyị ga-anwụ, maka na okwu nsọ gị na-adịghị ma ruo mgbe ebighị ebi, n'ihi na okwu gị niile ga-abịarịrị na mmezu. Ọ bịa mere Biafra ga-eji wee bịa na mgbe nke anyị wee na-akpọkụ gị wee na-arịọ gị na-asị lekwa ude nke anyị na-asụ n'akwa nke anyị na-ebe ka o metụta gị n'obi. Onye nwe m na Chineke nna nke igwe, biko dịka isi wee napụta ụmụ gị n'ọbụ n'Ijipt gotu wee wezuga ụmụ gị bụ ndị Biafra mgbodo ekwensu bụ zuu nke mmadụ dị ndụ kere, anyị wee na-aja gị mma na-asị gị n'ime ọnọdụ anyị anyị ga-ekele ha nsọ gị wee nye gị nsọpụrụ n'ụtụ na-eji ama mgbe niile n'ihi na anyị enweghị chi ọzọ ebezuga gị anyị nwe anyị anaghị efe arụsị ọbịa mere iji wee na-agọzi nsọmụkwụ anyị niile ọbịa mere IPOB ji wee gbaa mgbọrọgwụ n'ụwa niile anyị anaghị atụ egwu mmadụ dị ndụ anyị wee na-eto gị eze ebube dị ngọzi sị gị biko gbatara anyị ọsọ enyemaka ọ bụ naanị gị bụ onye anyị refe nwanya kpụ isi ala nye ka i wee napụta ndị gị n'ọbụ nke ekwensu anyị wee na-enye gị ofe na nsọpụrụ na ija ma na-asị lekwa ka ndị iro anyị niile ka kasị wee baa ha ọnụ ha wee daa hapụ ikuni ọzọ obodo ekwensu bụ zu ala nwekwa n'iyi eze ebube dị ngọzi anya ọnwa anyị bụ ụmụ gị wee na-akpọkọ ha nsọ gị na-asị na enweghị chi ọzọ egwezuga gị anyị wee na-aja gị mma wee na-eto gị na-asị onye kere ihe niile kere eke mana onye kere na n'otuto niile na nsọpụrụ niile na ịja mma niile site n'ebighị mara onye bi ka na-arịọ gị ise.
Good night, everyone. Chimamanda Adichie, please accept our condolences. We love you, our sister. Chineke nata mkpụrụ obi nwa gị nwoke na ndokwa. Accept our condolences. And may God use you also, with this pain in your heart, to make sure that you also join us to fight for our freedom. Because all of us united and fighting to end Nigeria, this will not be happening to any one of us again.